Lydia has got a guest that she's helped bring up here, and we're super pleased to have Ras Kwame here, who's going to be talking about his favourite moments in his career. Super looking forward to it. Give them a good round of applause as they come up to the stage.
We've got the extra 5.
Okay. So hello everybody, how you doing? You come with some good energy? And get ready to make sure you ask Ras questions because he's really moved his schedule around to be here today. So grateful to have you here.
Everything out the way.
Everything out the way.
Everything
so I'll just do a bit of an introduction to this incredible man. A British musician, record producer, radio DJ, presenter. He started his career as a club DJing in clubs, R&B, reggae, and this was all in the early 90s, in the noughties. And then after that, he's also got a BA degree in economics. Can you believe this? We were talking about the Black Pounds, like, I need you for the next one, you know? You might be able to secure me some sponsorship with the economics background. And also, there's so much that Ras has done, but I think as I get to interview you, we get you to share more about your highlights.
Sure.
So that was like a brief introduction, so you can start sharing a bit more.
A very sexy one, I have to say.
Was that a good one?
Yeah,
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Okay, so let me actually not fall out of this chair. and here we go.
Okay.
Tell me a bit about this. You know, I want to know for you, coming from a Ghanaian family, you know, and you go home, you tell the family, actually, I've decided I'm going into the creative industry to get into music.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about from the beginning how that began and actually how that landed.
Well, it'd be great if I could have said the creative industries, because I just said I wanted to be a DJ.
Yeah.
And that landed to the left, as you could expect, as someone doing a degree in economics at the time.
Yeah.
So the first picture is about Ghana, as you mentioned. I'm a descendant of Ghanaian parents. I love my country. Yeah. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Yes. That's me sometime, I think 2017 or 18, Independence Square, Ghana, with a black star behind me. And the place I discovered my passion for music, really and truly, and the power it brings. Second picture is Bob Marley, the Rasta Man Vibration album.
Yeah, you said he's a bit of an inspiration to you.
My favourite album and my favourite artist of all time, The King.
Yeah.
And probably the first piece of music that my dad gave to me that I considered as mine. Yeah. Like, this is my album, it's not really yours, even though you gave it to me, Dad. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And Bob Marley's been, like, just a real inspiration to me in music. I can't think of a better way to say it than that. Picture number 3 is myself and my dad at my Sugar Shack record store. So I come from, I'm born in the UK. I get to about 10 years old. My parents relocated to Ghana. My dad used to work for a company called Unilever.
Oh, yeah?
And he had a commission to go to Ghana, which he took up. So he took the family with him. Okay. So you can imagine 10 years old.
Uprooted.
From the UK, knowing everything about primary school in the UK, having a whole bunch of friends and going to Ghana, which is a totally different experience, 360-degree turnaround. And where I really got into music, discovered I had a talent for some sort of performance in my secondary school years, made a whole bunch of friends, met really dear family to me for the very first time, some of them. And where I think I had an experience that I couldn't really be the person I am today without having that experience. So I come back to the UK after my A-levels in Ghana, supposed to be doing university and just getting a quick degree and hopping back. And of course, when I got here, there's a guy called Danny D, who I think went to the same school as me in Ghana, and he was in the national charts at the time with a track called Acid.
Do you remember this, people?
Acid? You have to be really old school to know that song. But if you do remember, it was a massive chart smash. He's obviously gone on to have a huge career in the music industry. And I was like, wow, you can do that? Like, you can come from Ghana and be that guy? Like, he was on top of the pops, which was a real big deal back in the day. And I was like, no, I want to be that guy. You know what I mean? I want to follow that course and see what I can do. So I come back, I do the degree in economics.
Was that Guildhall, wasn't it?
At Guildhall.
Yeah.
Used to be called City of London Polytechnic back in the day, but thankfully they changed the name to Guildhall, so I can just work with some uni tag. And that was largely about what my parents wanted for me. They wanted me to just, like, you know, just get a normal job, have a normal education, and do something along their lines. So I get back from Ghana, I do the degree, and towards the end of the degree, I start DJing, you know, just as you do, friends, parties, weddings, little sets here and there, house parties and stuff. And people really liked what I did. I mean, they said I was great on the decks and pretty good on the mic as well. So I began to take it a little bit more seriously, began to DJ in like wine bars, pubs, you know, just little bits of money between school years. And then after university, I was reading something in a magazine and I saw something about the Princess Youth Business Trust and how they were funding stuff for the community and people like myself. So I applied for a grant, got one. My dad gave me some money as well, and I opened a record store in Hounslow, West London, of which I am standing in front of with my dad right there. God bless his soul, may he rest in peace eternally. And that was my first venture into the music industry proper without actually knowing it, because from the record shop point of view, you learn a lot about the industry, you learn about the distribution of music, the making of music, the retail of music, how people chose their music, what they liked, what they didn't like.
I've got to stop for a second. You know, you were raised here for the first 10 years of your life. Went back to Ghana for 10 years, and so that's two different paths of really building your identity, because I mentioned also with me, my family from Ghana as well. However, I was born here and didn't have the opportunity to grow like you did in Ghana, to have those that merge of culture.
Right.
And to that really ground you. I think we were discussing this.
Yeah, it gave me an understanding of two sides of life, if you like, the Western side, if you like, and the African side. And I've kind of like had the pleasure of experiencing Ghana from, like, for want of a better way of saying it, you know, the deep poverty level, right through to the bougie level.
Oh yeah, the bougie level.
Because in the 80s when we got there was still quite a residue of the colonial money in the system. So the people who were living the bougie life were really living the bougie life, and the poor were really poor. So I think my understanding of people and society was largely grounded in that double experience, because it was literally 10 years of this and 10 years of that, and it was just like a real eye-opener.
Because I try and piece a story, and then you come back and you manage to get some money, you know, from the Princess Trust, and then also having your father to contribute towards that is quite something. And then to open a store like called the Sugar Shack, that's quite an accomplishment already.
And you know, he was really proud. I don't think he ever let on how proud he was, because he was a little bit cheesed off. Because now I was really veering away from the economics thing.
You were so far away from it.
I was like, later I'm gone. And from that environment, we started making records. Myself and my business partner, Dennis. We started making records, coincides with the UK garage era. And we had fun.
You've gone across quite a few genres, because when we spoke, I didn't realise that you had touched on garage as well. I always thought it was reggae, dancehall, and Afrobeats.
I mean, going back to my dad's influence on me, my dad was, if you like, the reluctant DJ. I say reluctant because he didn't actually rate DJing as a trade, but he was the biggest DJ in my life, massive record collection. The point of the record collection was to entertain other people. So it would go literally from African traditional music right through to the Vienna Boys Choir, and there'll be some Led Zeppelin in between, and some random reggae bits, etc. So he kind of like really showed me about bringing people together with music and the power of it.
Yeah.
And because he would let me play the records to entertain people, I was literally the guy putting them, taking this one off, you know, with the 7-inch singles, etc.
So you can always put the finger back at him and just say, hey.
Yeah, and say, hey, man, you brought me this way. And it did occur, did occur to me a few years ago that the reason I'm doing this is because of you, as much as it was a bit of a sore point until the BBC comes into it, and then suddenly it's like, whoa.
Hey, you said I'm proud of you.
This is that thing. And speaking of the BBC, so in terms of professional broadcasting or DJing, I had a show at BBC One Extra on its launch. The show was called 100% Homegrown.
Yes.
And it was the first of its kind, unique take on 3 hours of just specifically UK black music, and talking about the culture, giving the voices a platform, because around the time, which was around the early noughties, if you can remember, if you go back that far, the scene was saturated with American music.
Yeah, of course.
It was all about Biggie Smalls and Tupac and Destiny's Child, all these artists that we loved, but there wasn't a prominent position for UK black music anywhere. And I felt really passionate coming from the UK garage scene that there needed to be some sort of representation for the music. You had who was considered to be the king or the leading DJ in hip-hop, reggae, R&B, but there was nothing that covered the whole spectrum of what we do and spoke about the culture. And getting your songs playlisted post the UK garage era was nigh on impossible. When UK garage wasn't the in thing and we started to try and make hip-hop and R&B and dancehall records, mainstream radio didn't want to know. It was just like, this is dead. So I took it upon myself to create a show that was specifically about that. In the pictures are some of the artists that I had a real good time
Emeli Sande there.
Helping to grow. Emeli Sande, bless her. She was one who's, I think her mum actually phoned the station and said, hey man, I'm from Scotland and my daughter's really, really cool with this singing thing, can you help? And I was more than inspired to help. Estelle, in picture number 2, she went on to have a massive career.
Yes, she did.
US smashes with Kanye, American Boy, that was a real big tune. Dizzy Rascal, that's there at the, I think it was probably the Maida Vale Studios, in conversation. And Dizzy was kind of like one of the first artists that demonstrated that, you know, UK real music, for want of a better way of saying it, could get into the charts and you could be from the ends and still make an impact. And at the time, it was largely, they had this system of one artist at a time. So you get Craig David for a bit, and then you get Dizzy Rascal for a bit, and then you get someone else for a bit. There was no blanket feel like nowadays you have your Stormzy and your Heady One and your Dave and your Central C all at the same time getting into the system. Just come out of
all these names. Okay, you feel so casual, like, pass us a cup of tea, you know. But you have worked with the greats, and I just want to know, without having to single anyone out, who made like a major impression upon you? You know, the types of people that you've worked with, or taught you something, or just.
Well, there's quite a few people actually.
Yeah.
Because just to see people going from one level of success to another level of success is always quite inspirational to me. Like, wow, you actually came in with a dream through the door and one single, and look at you now. So as a whole, the whole artistic, creative thing just kind of inspires me. If I have to put it down to specifics, there's 3 in the pictures right there. So Idris, big bro, Idris showed and actually said, because now we're quite cool and we hang and stuff, he said, look, trained or untrained, you can go through this system and become what you want to be. It can actually work. He was a DJ from East London.
Not many people know that.
Yeah.
Not many people know that.
He was a DJ from East, and he went to America and somehow got to do appear in a video for En Vogue. I think it was the Hold On video.
I'm just thinking of memories when you say that.
It's either Hold On or the other big hit that En Vogue had back in the day.
Wow.
And I don't think he was actually a trained actor or anything like that at the time. And he said, hey man, look at me, man. You know, you can do this thing, you can evolve and keep it going. Beanie Man's in picture number 2.
Beanie Man, I love Beanie Man.
Now, Beanie Man's obviously known as the king of dancehall. And he's an artist who's had a career from 4 years old.
Wow.
he was performing live from 4 years old, recording in studios from 8 years old. He's probably coming up to 50, if not just past 50 now, and still has a relevant career and still the king of dancehall. So from that, I take, like, you can keep this thing going and you can keep winning if you're passionate and really interested in stuff. Picture number 3 is Gigs, the landlord, my guy. He's gone from being at the bottom ladder of UK rap to being right at the top of it. And he once said to me a few years ago that, look at how I've come along. You need to come along with us. You're one of the guys who helped. You know, where's your Jonathan Ross type show?
Yeah, you've helped so many people.
You know, where's the couch? You know, you keep going. And from that, I take that. Yeah, you know, you can keep evolving in this. You don't have to be static or think the DJ always occupies a position, or you can only be a broadcaster. You can grow and raise the levels.
I know that there's some, again, when I was looking at your bio, I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder how can I put all this in time? So I spoke to Steve, can I have another 5 minutes? And I'm really thankful that you gave us that extra time. But I know that you're also studying for a doctorate.
Yeah, I only told you that one.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oh, God. Cheers, Lydia. No, I'm studying for a doctorate in the creative industries.
Yeah.
And I found a pathway to that is the path of least resistance, if you like. There's an organisation called Clock that converts part of your course into live skill sort of points. So if you've had a long career in something, apparently the universities are really interested in live practitioners of something. So therefore, you know, you can convert those into points. So I'm going through that process right now, and that doubles up with another year at an actual university where you can do the second half of the doctorates. And I've always wanted to be a doctor. Do you know what I mean?
Dr. Ras?
Dr. Ras. And there isn't any, there's no Dr. DJ as far as I know. So I'm thinking, wow, that's a crazy marketing angle to hit them with. And I can also learn something as well. And as I get further into my career, I think it's become more about speaking and consulting and you know, actually giving back in a way.
I'm sure there's some advertising agencies that would book you. Is that not right?
I'm trying to get the stripes that make me relevant to a cause, and I can speak with authority on stuff. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can see Jazzy. Oh look, Jazzy B, I love.
Yeah, Jazzy B, big up Jazzy. First expression that I saw of British black music reverberate around the world.
Yeah, around the world.
He's the reason I got my hair like this.
Okay.
I love the soundtrack. My brother for life. Big up Jazzy. The other guy with the I'm wearing the Steel Pulse T-shirt, is Michael Riley, who is at the University of Westminster, runs the bass music culture research unit, etc. He was the one who put me onto academics in this. Like, I'm like, wow, you were a founding member of Steel Pulse.
Look at that.
You know, I adored your group. And now here you are, and you're doing the studying thing and showing us the way. Fela Kuti, of course, inspiration for me in music, and shows us that music can be about politics and spirituality as well as just having a good time. Same for Bob Marley. And below that is my first executive producer at BBC One Extra, Ray Paul, who was the one who said to me, hey man, there's loads of DJs out there, but there aren't many broadcasters and speakers, so you might want to think about that.
And you're good at both, or you're excellent at both.
Thank you, appreciate that. And I've stayed with that energy along the way. The rest is about my present-day format with Global Radio, broadcast a show called The Reggae Recipe, Sunday nights, Capital Xtra. Absolutely love being at Global. The comparison between the BBC and commercial radio was a real eye-opener for me. Get to stay fresh with the kids, work with brands like Spotify, curated a carnival playlist for them this year, meet the likes of Stormzy, Coffee, etc. And the Marleys, who are the sons of my hero, Stephen and Damien Marley, right there. I've had a whale of a time so far. You have had a whale of a time. Yes, I have.
Time has gone so quick. I can't believe this.
I
could
know.
talk to you forever. But
1:55.
Is there a question? Is there a question? Does anybody have a question? Yes.
Thank you. That was really interesting. I think you, in the beginning, and I really love this, you speak about the Ghanaian culture and the impact that has had on your career and your life. And as a British person, I feel like I don't really have much to celebrate. But that might not be the same for everyone. And I'm just, obviously you grew up 10 years here and then moved back. Was there any bits of the British culture that were really pertinent that you missed, that when you went back to Ghana you kind of missed and like really resonated within your sort of
yeah,
career?
I did love the comics, and I did love the cartoons, and I did love Weetabix. So that's 3 big ones right there for you that were a bit like, hey man, where's the Weetabix? What's this stuff? And how come I can't get my comics every weekend anymore? You know, the ones I really liked, because I was a real comics freak. I used to collect them fastidiously, even more than records, when I was really young. So there are 2 parts of the culture that I really missed, but there was so much exciting stuff happening in Ghana anyway for a young person of 10 years old that, you know, just playing in the streets all day in the most random places, you know, running after lizards. Do you know what I mean? Seeing the biggest spiders you've ever seen in your life. That was all just, there was so much information to take in that I didn't really miss the British side much. Until we used to come back sometimes for some holidays and I'd think, wow, oh man, fish and chips. Miss that vibe, you know what I mean? Other friends who got older as I've gone along that I kept in touch with as well. So yeah, it was a great dual experience, and I'm just happy to have experienced both in my childhood kind of like years.
That's a really good question. Thank you so much. I wish that, okay, one more.
Looking at your life as you've lived it and what you want to do, what would you tell 10-year-old Ras?
What would I tell 10-year-old Ras? I would tell 10-year-old Ras to maybe make more of a business out of it and recognize that there is some kind of economy to this, and it's not just all about the having fun and the parties and really loving the music, because as much as that's a key driver, if you actually want to make a career out of it, you need to like have some kind of business approach to it. And I can guarantee you for the first 30 years, it was just all fun. There was no thinking about anything other than, I want to be on the decks, I want to smash it, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I tell my younger self, like, hey man, if you really want to make a career of this, because I don't think I actually knew it was going to be a career. I've just kind of like followed my nose, if you like, and found myself here. So yeah, I'd probably do a little bit more thinking about the strategic plan, if you like. That's boring, but I'll do that, yeah.
Okay. Well, I can't believe that's gone by so quickly, but wasn't it wonderful to listen to Ras? Okay, round of applause for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.